Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jerry Sansing with another edition of South Texas News and Reviews. This is January 28th, 2018. Pardon me, I guess I need to go back and correct that one. Sorry about that, Jack. Anyway, I'll have it done. But anyway, air times are 9 o'clock Wednesday p.m. Tuesday and Wednesday at 8 p.m. And this is around the what's going on in Corpus Christi. You can email me at gsansing@gmail.com. And where it's available on YouTube, go in and put in Gerald Sansing, and this show and what's going on comes on in the voice of Ed Bennett. Anyway, sorry about that, Jack. I know you're watching. This is January 28, 2018, ladies and gentlemen. So I'll talk to you in a little bit. Okay, I'm back. Here we've got our local politicians and so forth and so on in the form of Pinocchio, and I hope that you will join me and Jiminy Cricket and admonishing these people. Tell them, we're fed up with this stuff. You as taxpayers don't deserve that, and we need to make some changes. That's the reason I'm on this show. So if you've got anything you'd like to impart, then you just email me at gsansing@gmail.com, and I will answer right back. Be right with you. Okay, I'm going to have a few words to say about this. I'm famous, I guess, or infamous around here for my international no political signs. This is not really political. I just think that we need to have a change on the Del Mar College Board of Regents. 3 of them are coming up this year, and just thought I'd go ahead and let you know at the end of this show what's going on. But you'll see these around, and that's what that's all about. That's all current board members. That's the 3 that will be up for re-election this year. Anyway, talk to you soon. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like the recorder's going and the timer's going. So I'm going to come around here and take my seat and see if we can discuss a few things that I think are important in this community. I openly admit at times that the reason that I do this is to inform you fine folks of what's going on, okay? And I'm trying to get you to the point where you will fuss and groan and moan like I do. That's what I'm accused of doing. I'm just telling the truth. When I get all over the city and the CCISD, Del Mar College, state, county, and so forth and so on. And I'm just trying to help us out as a community. And a lot of people say, well, aren't you afraid of speaking up? And I said, nope. My forefathers since the early 1700s on both sides of my family fought for my freedom of speech, up through my father, who was a very highly decorated fighter pilot, and I've told you he was shot down in the Second World War and walked out after shooting a bunch of Germans with the French underground, and then flew Korea and Vietnam. So he had a very stellar career as a fighter pilot, Air Force officer, bird colonel. Okay, the schedule for this show, as I said, is going to be Tuesday at 9 p.m. and Wednesday at 8 p.m. And then I think before this show is the what's going on in Corpus Christi on Tuesday at 8:30, and then 9 o'clock on Wednesday. That half-hour show airs, okay, at 9 o'clock. But anyway, and I want to say these are some beautiful flowers up here dedicated to my mother, Miss Connie, and Miss Lynn, and Miss April 23. Okay, so I'll go ahead and resume. You can see that this T-shirt, and I'm going to explain more about this at the end of the show. This is what I had up on the screen in the beginning. And the T-shirt here says on the front of it, taxpayers cannot afford these members. And what I'm talking about is I want you to vote no to all current Del Mar College Board of Regents members that are going to be up for re-election, the 3 of them this year. Okay, you'll have to pardon me. Something got me, and I hope it's not those flowers. Okay, and then on the back of the T-shirt is the same logo. I won't turn around for you, but it says reduce taxes. That's what we need to do at Del Mar College. Reduce the taxes that you pay to the district and get absolutely nothing. Reduce administrative bloat. It's totally out of hand at Del Mar College, folks. We've got more administrators now than students, I believe. Reduce the tuition. We just had to go up $5 an hour for the tuition in order to pay the bills over there, and increase academic standards. And we have unfortunately slipped with academic standards over the past almost 20 years that I've been here. Excuse me. I get all choked up with this. All right, now, I do want to get on the city's behind. Again, I want you to start calling and questioning the city about the water bills here, and particularly utility bills. For instance, my total water after taxes and all that good stuff was $13.44 for the month. They send me a bill, I think, every 15 days or so. And I'm going to see when I paid the last one. I just paid one this month, and I guess this one's due on January the 18th. Okay, so I guess that was the other day. I think I paid this one. I'm not real sure. I'm going to have to go back and compare it because they send me multiple bills, and you know, I guess they figured that if I get far enough ahead, no, the due date on this one is February the 8th. Okay. And I did pay him last time. I think it was on the around the 18th for the last month. But this is ridiculous. But my wastewater bill, the charge for wastewater to get rid of $13.44 worth of water, and that's actually $12.45. They have that little tax on there, I guess. And but anyway, it's $127.69 for me to dispose of $12.45 worth of water. Now, something stinks there, folks, and I will get to the bottom of it. And so if you've got the same problem, would you please email me at gsansing@gmail.com, and, you know, there's a chance that we may have to rise up with a class action suit and straighten some of this stuff out, because the city's going to rape and pillage and squeeze every dime out of me that they can and do nothing with it except put coal mix in a chug hole out here and say that's success. And, you know, it's miserable around here, folks. We're being ripped off at a very high level. So I think we need to, when we've got people coming up for the city council, I think we need to, if you want, I'll make up some signs and we'll get rid of some of those people down there too. They don't deserve to be there. Now, here's what we've got, speaking of the city, and this is insanity, okay? Mayor wants part of Shoreline reopened, and this was back on the 25th, okay? Now, this has been going on for a month or two. I think it was in December into January where they opened another section up over by the Art Museum, I think it was. No, not the Art Museum, but the Art Center, okay? And that's where they have the farmer's market also, in that lane that was closed. Now, I don't know how much screaming I used to do. I did a lot when they switched the shoreline away from the bayfront down there and made that incredibly dangerous stretch of road that goes around what used to be the Coliseum property. And I was successful with no destination bayfront when Mr. Trey McCampbell, who is my ultimate boss at Del Mar, by the way, he's the president of the Board of Regents, and I think since they condone lockouts and stuff, which I'll talk about, then I'm surprised I'm still there. Okay? Now, anyway, you know, I had the no destination bayfront, and you people did not vote $44 million into making dog parks down there. I was one of 5 people who was sued by the city, the Friends of the Coliseum, if you remember that debacle. 5 of us were very, very vocal about not tearing down that roof on the Coliseum and use it for a landmark down there, but you know, Joe Adami and all of his rich buddies down there, land developers and so forth, they decided they'd go ahead and do it anyway, and they stuck that one right in your eyeballs. Okay, both fingers. Nah, that's what Joe Adami did to you good people, along with several more other people down there, Chris Adler and that people of that ilk. Okay. Now, so what he wants to do is reopen a portion of that. Now, I don't know why in the world he wants to do that, because the art center down there has been screaming. They're going to disrupt the farmer's market. People are going to get killed down there. The people that want to walk down and enjoy the bayfront without being run over by some of these crazy fools we've got around this town. Okay, the driving in this town is a bomb. It's terrible, folks. These people are just, you know, I wish they had to go through driver's ed, and then, you know, maybe rather than run over people then maybe if they got hit a couple of times by some of these other lunkheads around here, then something would happen about that. I don't know. So anyway, this was on the 25th, 3 days ago. Okay? Now, and then there was an opinion that article, well, let's see what, but this was on the day before that one. It was on the 24th. City Council hears findings of shoreline traffic study. They did a traffic study. Nobody knows who ordered it. Nobody knows why, and except that Mayor McComb, wanted it done, and it seems to be a typical city where the left hand doesn't have any idea what the right hand's doing, and really doesn't seriously care. Okay, so this is this is a tragedy to have to live in a city where we've got nothing but what I consider to be blockheads running it. Okay. And we can do better than that, folks. We can do a whole lot better for people that are not just vested in making money themselves. And let's get this city straightened out. If we're going to spend money, let's do it on things other than some of the frivolous garbage that they do. Okay. And then there was an opinion. This was on the 25th, the day that the big one came out about the mayor, and it's a very lengthy editorial. And it says here, we commend City Councilwoman Debbie Lindsay Opal for telling Mayor Joe McComb point blank that reopening the closed old lanes of Shoreline Boulevard is a bad idea. Well, thank you, ma'am. Ms. Lindsay Opal, I agree with that, okay? We've said the same repeatedly, and so have countless others, notably the organizers of the Downtown Farmers Market. It's unfortunate that the message appears not to have sunk in because Mr. McComb could do much to enable progress if only he'd stopped trying to impede it. Now, this is pretty potent stuff here, folks. I mean, when you get the Caller Times talking against one of the elected officials around here, then things are getting real heated and serious. Okay? It says closing those lanes 2 years ago allowed something beautiful to happen that couldn't have happened otherwise. The picturesque area along the seawall, especially the section nearest the Art Center of Corpus Christi, became a space for people to enjoy rather than for cars to travel. The view became something more than what it used to be, and McComb wants it to be, again, just something to see from a car window. Okay? I don't know. It's hard for me to digest some of this stuff. And again, I apologize, folks. I don't know. I guess the antihistamine isn't working today. But the allergens are. And, maybe I'm allergic to Corpus Christi, Texas. I've developed a real rash over this place over the years. I love the place, folks, don't get me wrong. And this is where my wife and I wanted to reside, retire, have kids, and, do our thing. So, unfortunately, I lost her 5 years ago, so, I'm rethinking this. I'm trying to think whether I'm going to go back to the great state of Alabama. My family's from Bay City, Texas originally, but, I fell in love with Auburn University and the Auburn area up there, so I'm seriously considering that. So I know when you see this on the air, I know that the City Council watches and the Del Mar College administrators watch and so forth, so just as soon as I say that, just go run to the front door and listen, and you'll hear a great deal of partying going on. And he's even considering moving out of Corpus Christi, Texas. Okay, this place is not what it was when I moved here almost 20 years ago. Okay, and I'll miss it, but I haven't made up my mind yet. I told I had to go before the Board of Regents several years ago and asked them not to give another messed up early retirement plan just to get rid of us old toots so that they can hire nothing but adjuncts and make it cheaper so that then the administration's got more money to squander over there. They don't fix anything at Del Mar, and I'll discuss that in a few minutes. How long do you want your kid to be over there in a academic building with no fire alarm? And apparently there are two of them. There's one over there in art and drama, and then the Buddy Venters building. What they do is they have guards that walk around at very expensive, and they say they can't get it fixed. Well, replace the damn thing. you've got millions of dollars in profit every year, and you won't admit it, but I've seen the books. So anyway, call your regent. That's all I can say, the Del Mar College Regents. And get all over the city council. If you start calling and belly aching about this, you can usually get things done. Okay? So anyway, Mr. McComb, your attitude towards that, I think, is very dangerous. And as soon as somebody gets run over there, then the city's going to be sued, and they'll hire $1 million or $2 million, spend up to $3 million for outside attorneys and so forth at the city. And we've got such a poor leader. The head attorney over there is I think, a very despicable, uncaring person, Mr. Risley. That's my personal opinion. Now, and then that goes back to his total desire to buck everybody that says we want to have the ADA compliance done around here, the Americans with Disabilities Act, conform to. Get the sidewalks where people can use those. And then now what we have is we had the county that decided that they couldn't afford to continue with ADA compliance because of damage and cost of the hurricane. So, there was an editorial here that I think is of significance, and I don't know why they didn't write one like this one with about Mr. Risley down there at the city refusing to fix some very severe problems, Tarleton and Ayers for one, and then you've got one out there, I think it's on Everhart and Holly area, is encumbered there. You can't get by if you're in a wheelchair or on a walker or crutches or so forth. But I don't know why the editorial board is going after the county and haven't been all over, Mr. Risley and the city fathers down there. I hope they do. The Caller Times did say how great it was and how sad it was to lose Abel Alonzo. And, he was such a good person here and helping people out on a daily basis and screaming and yelling about things. And he actually had to sue the city once for ADA compliance. And he'd go to the meetings, but, the poor guy, he wouldn't say anything. I guess he wanted to stay in the good graces of Mr. Risley and so forth. So I found that to be very interesting. But ask someone in a wheelchair about ADA program delay. Okay, well, it's not even a delay with the city, folks. They just shut it down. They will not conform to ADA. Now, I have written the city, I've written the Department of Justice, the ADA compliant section, and it comes under civil rights, and the Department of Justice indicated they didn't have enough funds and money and time to make Corpus Christi conform to ADA, but they were sorry about that. Go over to the old folks' home and see if you can, raise some hackles over there and see if they'll join in. But for crying out loud, we're too busy at Department of Justice. Now, if you look at national news, then and some of the despicable things that are coming out and leaking out about FBI and the Department of Justice and so forth, then at the national level too, folks, vote all the bums out. Okay, we need a fresh start. We really do. All right, so here's the Caller Times is getting on to the county, and they haven't said one single word about the total disregard for ADA that's exhibited by the city, from the mayor on down, from Mr. McCombs, and nobody down there seems to want to address it. I've been preaching about it all this time. And all I get from the city is if you want to complain now, they've got a new form that you can complain if you are disabled. Okay? Well, I'm not there yet, but I can tell you it just saddens me. And then not only the disabled folks, but people, we've got a bunch of young people around this town that do not have transportation. They either have to walk to a bus and take it, or they have to take their stroller with their kids and push it down the sidewalk. Now, they can't get around some of these obstacles that are in total violation of ADA, And what Mr. Risley said was they can go into a parking lot or they can go into the street to get around those, that city can't afford it and doesn't want to do anything anyway. And they're not. It's not mandatory for for the city of Corpus Christi to conform to federal law under Department of Justice. I think he knows that the Department of Justice isn't going to come down here and do anything about it. So he's, I guess he's just saving money for the rest of those city council members down there. Bunch of boneheads as far as I'm concerned. And I wish you'd straighten that attorney out. Okay? He speaks with forked tongue at times, folks, if you know what I'm talking about. So sue me, Mr. Risley. See if I care. All right. There was no question that the unanticipated spending by local government in response to Hurricane Harvey would come home to roost. We're just not sure Nueces County's proposed 5-year delay of its Americans with Disabilities Act compliance program is the right place to roost. Okay? We also aren't sure it's the wrong place. We just think county officials should demonstrate in a big, convincing way that they consulted county residents who live with disabilities before they pursued this course. There was no evidence of it at a meeting last week of Nueces County Commissioners Court, at which County Judge Lloyd Neal laid out the county's cash-strapped situation. No people with disabilities spoke up at the meeting to describe how they were consulted and how much they appreciated it. None spoke up in agreement with Neal and county commissioners that this was the county's best option. No people with disabilities told the audience that that waiting 5 years of their lives was a sacrifice they were willing to make. And it goes on, okay? Now, at the bottom it says, but let's also consider how much older we'll be 5 years from now. Those of us who face no appreciable physical impairments should try to imagine what a 5-year wait would be like if we did. Okay? Better yet, ask someone who is physically impaired. Then and only then should it be decided that this is the best option. So I want to reach out at this point to anyone that's disabled and frustrated with the lack of ADA compliance at either the state or the federal or local, county, and particularly Corpus Christi level. Okay? So veterans out there, I know you fought gallantly. Many of you are disabled because of that. And, I'd like to hear from you. So email me at gsansing@gmail.com and let me know. I'll be glad to come to some of your veterans meetings, and we'll see if we can, even if it takes a class action lawsuit and then just raising hell with VA. VA said they won't do anything about it either. They don't have time and it's not within their purview. Okay? That's the Veterans Administration. I've got that letter as well as the one from the Department of Justice. Nobody cares. So how do you get people to care? You just start raising hell. Okay? All right. Plan offers property tax relief for homeowners. This was written by Governor Greg Abbott. He wants to, under this plan, I'm calling for a 2.5% annual cap on property tax revenue growth. This is a simple, uniform measure that will keep property taxes in check while still allowing for local governments and schools to increase revenue each year. Okay? Now, I've got a big hang up with a lot of that, which I'm going to talk about with Delmar in particular. They're taxing you to death, folks, and we're getting absolutely nothing except the bills. Then there's another thing with the city and the county and the port and so forth and so on around here. It says port moves ahead with offer for the M&G plant. Bid will be made for desalination facility. Okay? Now, I spent an awful lot of time, money, and effort to make sure that Las Brisas Energy Center was not instilled and installed here in Corpus Christi, Texas. Okay? I was the chair of the Clean Economy Coalition, and we finally convinced the state that was going to kill babies, it's going to kill cardiac patients, and then turn a bunch of people into asthmatics and severe lung problems. So we were able to not have that baby-killing, pollutant spewing thing out in the public. Okay. Now, at the time that we had that Clean Economy Coalition, or at least I had it, it's still going. I don't know what they're doing these days. But the people from M&G Plastics came to us. They were afraid because we're in the throes of shutting down the Las Brisas Energy Center, which would have been right there on the bay with, or the port canal there, along with everything else, the channel, ship channel. But I had great reservations about this, and they started talking about that desal plant. I said, where are you going to get the water? Well, we're going to pull it out of the ship channel. Well, then you're going to heat it up, and you're going to have that big brine load when you take the salt out of it and all the other stuff, the lead and stuff that's in that ship channel, which is a severe amount over the years with the refineries. And then you're going to stick it back into the channel, and that's going to go out in the bay, and the salinity is going to go sky high, and that's going to do a great deal of damage to the wildlife out there. Okay? But no, now we want to do that. The port wants to buy that property, put in the desal plant, and then sell it back to the city. So how much is that going to cost you taxpayers? And just because they've had something like a $2.7 million loan from the water board or whatever it is at the state level, which you have to pay back to run the study. Here we go again. And then voestalpine. I had great reservations about them coming in. And now they're polluting Portland area over there, Ingleside, Portland, at a very high level. And now we've got that Exxon Mobil plant coming in, which is going to be the biggest and best of everything in the world. Plus, it's going to be one of the biggest and best polluters around here. So if your health, ladies and gentlemen, when you cast your vote for these politicians that are pushing these things, if you don't care about your health and the health and welfare of your family members and loved ones and stuff, then keep voting in this crap, okay? And then what they're going to do is they're going to give these companies they have massive tax abatements, so they're not going to pay the freight. And then I guess that's the reason I have to pay 100 times what my water bill is for wastewater treatment, just to get rid of wastewater from the plants and stuff, the refineries. You need to start waking up out there, folks. We got some really serious bad problems around here. Now, another thing that has bothered me is we have the Employees Retirement System of Texas, which is a state organization. And they're the ones that are charged with making sure that I have insurance coverage. Okay? Now, I pay coverage there. Del Mar College pays for part of mine, okay? And it's very costly. Now, what happened was the ERS, the Employees Retirement System of Texas, those bozos up there decided they'd put out new bids, and then they got Blue Cross Blue Shield to take over as the administration of those insurances, which means I have to find a primary care physician that will agree to take what they're willing to dole out on my treatment for me and keep me healthy. And what happened was the Blue Cross Blue Shield, of Texas submitted the winning bid on that. They undercut the other party, which we've had for 6 years now, I think, and they were doing a very fine job. And then I get a call from my primary care physician that says we could not come to terms for the reimbursement from Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Texas, so we're not going to be able to have you come in here and be, that was my primary care physician. Okay? He said they're terrible, they're bad administrators, and so forth and so on. Okay? Now, so what's happened is I've had to try to find another primary care physician. Now, I think I'm just going to go ahead and pay my physician what it's going to cost, and I'm going to drop and make sure that I am not having taxpayers and the college district pay for my insurance policy when I can't get any insurance. Okay? I mean, I'm not insured. My primary care told them to go climb up a tree. Now I'm going to interject some stuff. I wrote a Public Information Act request from ERS asking for the name, rank, serial numbers. I wanted to see the proposals that Blue Cross Blue Shield made, plus versus the other companies that were buying for this administration of that, and a bunch of other stuff like the Code of Ethics. Why would you shut down and not take care of people? Now, I have put this out on the airways at Del Mar College with the faculty and staff, and I've had some real strong responses. Okay, now some people that have some very pressing medical needs over there have been told that they can't use their primary care if the primary care decided to take less money than Medicare pays for it. Okay, now there's one person, I'm not going to name that person, has a problem, submitted a request and a bill for about $1,100 in medical problems, and he received a check back for 18 cents. Now that sounds like a real good insurance company to me. How about you? All right, is that what you people are contributing? And taxpayers contribute to this. Now, the report went out that there were 225,000 state employees that are now faced with traveling great distances to get primary care, and hospitals and so forth, and medical facilities that will agree to take the cut in funds that Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas has proposed. So what's the person's life worth? Okay. Now, these people are making big money, the administrative services that they provide, okay, and they've cut the insured, they've cut throats, okay, and then I think another large bill that person submitted, it was just a matter of a few dollars on $1,000 or two claim, okay. Now is that what you people out there want, okay? And, ultimately, we all pay the state for something, and they're going to tax the stuffings out of us one way or the other, okay? So I'm going to further report this. I got a CD disc with supposedly the on this. I did go over to their representatives and rattle it, so I guess that's what sped up this Public Information Act request and the things that I was sent back. Now, Del Mar College has got one of the worst reputations in the world for fulfilling Public Information Act requests in a timely manner. And I'll go back to the city. I submitted one where the bills, it was about $500,000 in bills, okay? Or it may have been more than that. But anyway, from outside attorneys. I want to find out what the city's paying outside attorneys for. So I turned that in on December the 19th. I took it down to the city secretary office. I had it date stamped, and then I didn't hear anything. And there are time limits from the state on that. Now the state's balked a little bit. The Attorney General's office, they're trying to cover up for a lot of these other piss poor, administrators and people. But anyway, and I hate to use that phrase, but I spit it out anyway. It just it perturbs me deeply to be treated like I'm an imbecile and an idiot, and that I live in a communist country. Anyway, it states in the law, if the public asks for information in a publicly supported institution like the city, then best get with it, folks. And they didn't. So I went down on January 19th and asked where that was. I talked to the attorney down there, one of 26 that we hire for the city here, and I asked where the answer was. Where's my response to my request? Well, he called down there to the city secretary's office, and they didn't have any record of it. Now I'm sitting here with a date stamped copy, original, okay? And how's he going to wiggle out of that? I'm surprised he didn't go down to Mr. Risley and see, what kind of a line of BS we could get on that one. And he may have. That's maybe the reason I still haven't heard anything. And what's today, the 28th? and I went down there personally on the 19th. So I'm about ready to file a massive complaint with the Texas State Attorney General. Anyway, so they cover things up. Now, how do you lose something like that? I guess it's called a bureaucracy. And I remember one time when another person and I filed a Public Information Act request with Del Mar College, and we were told it was going to be something like $26.7 million to fill in and provide the information. It wound up costing us zero. Okay? So that's the kind of shenanigans we've got with a lot of these people around here. And I do have a request in, 2 of them, actually with Del Mar College, and those were filed back in November. And I haven't had anything but a line of BS shot at me since then. So I'm going to take them to task with the Texas Attorney General. And that's what happens at Del Mar College when attorneys get involved with that. We've got, I think, one of the worst attorneys on the face of this earth. Now, that brings me to Del Mar College. Okay, I've been there just shy of 30 years, I guess it is. I came in '89. And, I'm still very concerned about the lack of integrity at Del Mar College and with the administration and with our attorney. So I'll just, spit it out. Now, a good friend of mine, Dr. Bruce Olson, who was the chair of the Social Sciences Department, PhD historian. He was also a retired Army colonel, bird colonel. He served in Vietnam. He was Airborne Ranger Special Forces. And why they insist that he's going to be bullied and go away, I don't know. And bullying is the name of the game at Del Mar College, folks. Okay, this administration, along with this attorney they've got over there, the in-house, they used to call it, I think it's the general counsel now, and then the insurance bully, that guy that's with the insurance company that just got whacked with this lawsuit. But anyway, Bruce Olson, Dr. Olson, challenged Del Mar College. In retaliation of that, they went over and they locked him out of his office and lied about him retiring and so forth and so on. And they broke the contracts and so forth, and he would not sign contracts that were not what he had mediated in the mediation session. But anyway, so after about 5 years of this, then the thing went to court. The judge is in with the Del Mar people. Okay, and she said no, Del Mar was not at fault. So he appealed that to the 13th Court of Appeals, and the 13th Court of Appeals said, "Oh, wait a minute. You broke your contract with him. You avoided that." So then the college has spent about $300,000 appealing that to both the 13th and fighting that and so forth and so on, and then appealing that to the Texas Supreme Court. The Texas Supreme Court said we understand and we are backing up what the 13th Court of Appeals said. Dr. Olson should still be on salary down there and working. Okay. Then they remanded it back to the judge here, the county court at law number 2. That's Judge Lisa Gonzalez. So it went to trial. After the trial, the jury said, hey, Del Mar broke this thing first, and the agreement, and you owe Dr. Olson a whole bunch of money. Okay? Now, the judge, just recently, this came out on the 23rd, so I guess she must have done it on the 22nd. Judge says Del Mar owes former employee $484,000. Former Del Mar College professor Bruce Olson sued breach of contract. For breach of contract, Del Mar countersued. A judge awarded damages to Olson. Del Mar filed for a new trial. Now, we've spent $300 and something thousand of your tax money out there, folks, fighting this thing. And even the jury said that he was in the right, that Del Mar College had breached the contract before Dr. Olson refused to sign it. Okay? And they said that he had retired. Now, I was there when they locked him out, or just shortly thereafter. He had his personal computers in there, several of them, manuscripts. He was writing textbooks and so forth and so on. He had antique history books and so forth, artwork on the wall. It all disappeared. And then he went over there January 2nd, 2012, and they had locked him out. And then the president walked into the vice president's office where we were standing there waiting for instructions and so forth, and he indicated to several of us that he didn't know about the lockout until 30 minutes before he walked into that room. Now, it was said that the attorneys, these were two witnesses in the trial, and one of them was no longer at Del Mar College. The other one is the, what do they call that? I don't know. A higher up, she's a vice president or something over there with the, not public relations, but the personnel people, okay? Resources. Now, they said that as far as they knew, they were the ones that participated and ordered, finally to have the guys go over and change the locks. And they said, well, who authorized this? Well, it was the attorneys. Not the president, but the attorneys. Okay? Now here we go, we've got this general counsel here. Del Mar has paid $295,705.02 in attorney's fees and expenses related to the legal battle. I don't think that includes Mr. Rivera's time and salary since he's been hired as general counsel. Del Mar filed a motion for a new trial Friday, Rivera said. Okay? The college continues to maintain that it fully performed its obligations under the agreement with a former employee and remains confident it is in its position, a statement from Rivera reads. Okay? The college looks forward to pursuing its post-judgment and appellate remedies in court. Now, you've already spent over $300,000, Del Mar College, because of Mr. Rivera, and if he was such a hotshot attorney, then he would have won this case up front. So now, in order to cover his sorry backside, okay, he's going to go ahead and spend another $300,000 for a new trial and all this stuff. Now, there are 4 other lawsuits that have not gone to trial yet as a result of that lockout and other problems with Dr. Olson. So if you're going to lose $500,000 a whack and then have to pay attorney's fees at $120,000, okay, and another $300,000 to probably wind up having the judge and the jury come back and saying that Olson won the case, then I don't know. And I think that's just pure ego on Mr. Rivera's. I mean, he is a very, very arrogant and I don't know. He's an extremely arrogant person, okay? So I don't think we can afford his arrogance. So taxpayers out there and just general public and, tuition's got to go up to pay for all this garbage, and they say, well, the insurance company will cover it. Well, who pays the premiums? And that insurance attorney, he's about as uppity, arrogant, and so forth as Mr. Rivera is. It's Mr. McKinney. I mean, and you see their demeanor, and they act like, little spoiled 3-year-old children in court. And if I were a judge, I'd have thrown them out on their ear. I wouldn't have put up with the little tantrums that the 2 of those were pitching during the trial. It was very embarrassing to me because I do work for Del Mar College, and it's more embarrassing because I'm a taxpayer. But I am the president of the Corpus Christi Taxpayers Association. So every month, the first Saturday, we meet at 2:00 p.m. at the Small Planet Deli over on, I think that's Alameda and Staples. Okay? So join us, and we're all. And I blame a lot of that stuff on the Board of Regents not taking care of things either. So that's the reason for this. Okay, we're going to be $600 million in debt soon with that Southside campus. We have no students. Our enrollment's dropping. And then here's another one. This is CCISD trustee. Where are our kids going? declining enrollment trend started in 2015, so I guess you can't blame that on the hurricane. Del Mar blames our decreasing student population and enrollment over there on the hurricane. Okay? And we've been flatlined, and maybe not even that high, since 1992. But we need a $500 million campus out there to house 20,000 students. We're building 150 some odd $1 million buildings on east and west, more classrooms that'll go unattended. As I said, the alarm system's out in one of the biggest buildings over there, the Buddy Venner's Business Building. We've got collegiate high school students in there, and young students and so forth, and what we've got is we're paying a fortune to have two people. Well, I think one roams through the art and drama building. Their fire alarm doesn't work anymore either. And it's been a year since Venner's worked, so we're putting the people at great danger over there and spending a fortune having some security officer roam around looking and smelling for smoke and so forth or so on. And why don't we just fix it? We've got all that bond money, okay? And we're making profits every year of anywhere from $5 million to $12 million. And I don't know how much the security system and the fire alarm would cost over there, but you know, that's the total inefficiency of the administration at Del Mar College. Okay. And CCISD, I don't know what their problem is. You know, the reputation for the quality of education out of CCISD stinks, and Del Mar's hitting almost rock bottom. It used to be one of the best in the country when I started 20-something years ago. So, I don't know. What can I say, folks? Then ACLU, CCISD's recording restrictions overreached. I guess their placards over in the particularly, they picked out Veterans Memorial High School states Corpus Christi ISD students are no longer allowed to record audio or video at school without permission from the administrator. Now, I don't know what that's all about. Okay? So, and then the ACLU stepping in there and saying that they're overreaching their authority on that one. That one came out on the 25th. Okay? And then back to Del Mar College. Okay? Now what we've got is I have some documents here, and I think it's time to go through one of either the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools, SACS, who accredits Del Mar College. I'm going to start contacting them. I've given you fair warning with that, Del Mar College administration. I'm a little bit perturbed with the American Association of University Presidents, which sets the standards and so forth for academics. It's gone too political for me, so I have eased out of that. And, you know, we should not have our educational process and anybody that's going to stand up for faculty rights and so forth and so on mixed up with politics and blame one party for some of this stuff and not the other. It should be a communal thing. So I'm a little bit, I'm no longer a member of the American Association of University Professors. We've had some problems which were ignored by that group. Okay. However, they have evaluation of shared governance. Now, shared governance does not happen at Del Mar College. Faculty members have no say-so in anything that goes on over there, period. And I think the Board of Regents is probably one of the main problems with that. Plus, the administration is led by Dr. Mark Escamilla. They're just a bunch of bullies over there, and they won't listen. They're not educators themselves. So I'm just going to run through some of this. This is a questionnaire, okay? And it says climate for governance. Okay, they've asked about this. Do the trustees, the administration, and the faculty model collegiality? Okay, respect, tolerance, and civility towards other members of the campus community and each other. No, they do not. Okay, it's a bullying tactic over there, and I'm sick and tired of that. So I'm not going to be bullied, folks. I had a guy that was in a swimming pool at a club that we had there in Virginia, and I think I was ninth grade. Yeah, it was ninth grade, And here's this clown pushing people around in the swimming pool. He had just been accepted to the West Point. He thought he was really some tough guy. So he went over there and punched me, and I punched him back. Now, I lost the fight, big time. But I bloodied him up so bad that he never bothered to come back for any more of me. Okay? So I'm not going to be bullied. I don't give a damn what people try to do. Okay? Are negotiations and communications among university constituents open and carried out in good faith and in an atmosphere of trust? No, they're not. I've asked for public information through the Texas Public Information Act. I've been stalled. I've been told one time $26.7 million to get several pages of stuff over there. They were going to have to spend that much money recouping that information, folks. Now, if that's not trying to bully somebody, I don't know what is. And we got that information for nothing. Okay. Zero. And it was, you know, if it would have been over 50 pages, I'd have been surprised. Institutional communication. Does consultation by the administration with faculty leadership allow time and a mechanism for leadership to consult with their constituents before offering recommendations? No. They just push things through. Okay? And a lot of that is due to the Board of Regents. Okay? Board of Regents members, all but one of them, I'll say two, don't give a tinker's damn about faculty members. They want to get rid of all of us old toots that are tenured, or the people that are on tenure track. So we've reduced our full-time tenure track tenured faculty to only 38% of the total faculty. Many of those now are adjuncts and or on term positions. That ought to make you feel real comfortable, taxpayers and students at Del Mar College. Does the faculty as a whole, in addition to faculty representatives, have timely access to information necessary for faculty members to give input into governance? No, we just wake up one morning and the rules have been set. They do what they damn well please over there, they meaning the administration and the Board of Regents. Now the board's rule. Now this is why I want to get rid of the three that are up for re-election this year. Okay? Do members of the governing board have appropriate individual qualifications with regard to education and experience? No. Now we've got a chiropractor on there and a couple of attorneys. I don't think the attorneys have ever taught. Maybe one of them did. And he's probably one of the two least offensive over there. And we do have now a bona fide CPA that's keeping an eye on things over there, Mr. Ed Bennett. Okay, he is a true CPA. The president of the board, when he was running for re-election last year or two, indicated that he was the only CPA on the board, and I proved to the press that he was not, and he was teary-eyed in front of Channel 6 News, saying he didn't realize that he couldn't profess to be a CPA when his license was no longer valid. Okay, like I say, it's a real trip over there, but they don't care. You know, they don't have the qualifications. All right, is the board inappropriately involved in the day-by-day operations of the institution? Inappropriately involved. Well, I'm told that I cannot talk to a Board of Regents member as a faculty member employee at Del Mar College. Now, the policies over there say different, but this is what I'm told, that I could be in great trouble if I went and tried to talk one-on-one to one of the Board of Regents members. It's a lie, is what it is, okay? And, you know, that I can tell when they're lying to you over there, folks. All you got to do is watch their lips. When they start moving, people are lying to you at Del Mar College. Is the board inappropriately involved? Yes, it is. Okay, I think that's very inappropriate. And then, you know, they don't bounce much off of the faculty at all. Now, it's up to us to teach the thing, and through the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board, they're supposed to have certain baseline, what's the word I'm searching for? Academic standards. And we have privileged people over there that don't have to teach a course according to the outlines and so forth, and as dictated by the state. We don't even have to have people that are qualified to take the class with prerequisites take the class. And then, you know, it's but some of these people over there, folks, are they're very privileged. Okay. Do board members inform themselves on governance issues by keeping up with the literature and participating in training opportunities and meetings of the Association of Governing Boards or the AAUP? Some of them do, but the vast majority, folks, I don't think they really care. Now, some of them are very intent on doing the right thing. There are two of them. The rest of them, and of course, you know. All right, does the board respect and support the faculty's traditional role in institutional governance? No, they do not. Period. End of discussion. And then here, the president's role. Does the president have adequate academic as well as administrative credentials to serve as the chief academic officer of the institution? He has the administrative credentials. His PhD degree from the University of Texas is in community college administration, which means he's learned how to take, and here it is, there's a flow chart, it's called administrative bloat. Okay? As far as the educational end of it, I don't think he really gives a rip. You know, I don't know that he's ever taught. You know, his bachelor's, master's degree was in, I think it was criminal justice. So, I don't know. And then he does allow bullying. Okay? He's a great proponent and supporter of the administration bullying faculty members and other employees of Del Mar College. I'll just throw that in, and it makes me sick to see that happen. Okay, does the president on more than rare occasions overturn faculty decisions and recommendations in areas in which the faculty has primary responsibility? Curriculum, tenure, promotion, and decisions. I would say that since he has allowed certain administrators over there to cuddle up and have their pets, their privileged few, then I'd say that he overturns faculty decisions, especially on curriculum and tenure. Okay, now I don't know so much about tenure, except they're trying to get rid of all tenured people over there, and they're hiring terms and adjuncts. They're not hiring tenure track people anymore. Okay, they say that they've got some ads out for those, but I'll guarantee you they won't be filled at that level. Okay, and then, you know, promotion decisions. He's promoting within his administration. When we had a freeze on salary increases, what they do is they take a dean and make them an assistant director, and then a director and make them a vice president. You know, and this is a way we can increase salaries without giving a salary increase to everybody. Does the president seek meaningful faculty input on those issues such as budgeting, in which the faculty has an appropriate interest but not primary responsibility? He didn't pay any attention to me when I said don't try that South Campus out there for $500 million. Okay, and now they're finding out, I guess, that you know, they've encumbered us with a great amount of money, and I don't know how we're going to pay it back except the tax increases. Okay. They keep saying we're going to have this increase in enrollment, and that hasn't happened. We've actually decreased. And then they say this past fall the reason for the decrease was solely on the shoulders of the hurricane, okay? Which is hogwash. Does the president effectively advocate the principles of shared governance to the governing board? No, they dictate what he's going to do. Okay? I don't know. I guess that's the chain of command. But I would think that a president, if he got bad advice from a Board of Regents member, then I think he would have the backbone to stand up and say, hey, you know, we're not going to bully these faculty members any longer, and I'm not going to be bullied either. So anyway, it's a mess, folks. That's Del Mar College, and we're sliding down from any semblance of having a top academic institution. So I'm going to go over and shut this thing down. I've spent almost an hour with you. I've got a little over a minute left. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to not put the banner back up. And this is January 28th, 2018. I screwed the banner up, and Mr. Gordy's going to have a few words with me. So I deserve it, Jack. I wasn't paying attention. Anyway, I'm going to show you the flowers, and I'll be right back. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, absolutely beautiful roses. Like I say, they're dedicated to Miss Connie, my mother. Miss Lynn, my deceased wife, and Miss April 23, who's a good friend. Anyway, you gals deserve the best. If you want to contact me, please email me at gsansing, SANSING, at gmail.com. If you want to miss any of these shows, you can go put in YouTube Gerald Sansing, and both the South Texas News and Reviews and what's going on in Corpus Christi comes on, as well as the voice of Ed Bennett, who's one of our Board of Regents members. Anyway, I'm going to let the clock run out and you enjoy those flowers. Good night.